What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another video here at the TGRDC show. Week 4 just wrapped up with the noon game. The Cowboys played the Panthers, as you guys already know, and this is my post-game reaction video. Wow. I think for the first time, initial reaction is I kind of feel like there's a sense of relief because we played the Buccaneers, we lost, and there's a lot of talk about how, oh, we're 2 points away, we're so close to being the Super Bowl champs, all that kind of talk. And for me, I just dismissed that because it's just like, okay, you guys know my thoughts about that. Go watch the video. I thought we threw the ball way too much. We weren't balanced at all. Coaching was everywhere. And then the second game, we beat the Chargers, and that's a game that I believe we should have. And if you watch the game, see my reaction there. I thought there was a lot of things that we could have done to just win that game easily. So even then, we got the win. It was by a field goal. I felt like it should have been a little bit more. I was still worried. And then against the Eagles, obviously we're the best team in the NFC East. And so winning that game, it didn't really convince me because it's just like that's a team we should beat. But this is the first time where I'm sitting here watching this game and I'm actually getting a sense of relief in the sense that, okay, this is actually a good football team. And I know it's the Carolina Panthers. They're 3-0, and despite what you may think about their record and how they got it, they're 3-0 for a reason. In the NFL, you can't apologize for winning the games that you've won and who you played against. The fact of the matter is they're 3-0, and I think they were a very good measuring stick for us to see exactly how our team was. And I think that first half was very competitive. We're down by 1 at halftime. And at the verge, you really didn't know how our team was going to respond. I think previous years, you could probably assume how we were going to respond. For me, I thought it was going to come down to the wire. But I'll jump into it. I think this coaching staff deserves a huge standing ovation on this one because a lot of things were not going right, but a lot of things were, successful in that first half, hence why, it was such a close game. And I'll get down into the timeouts and the coaching decisions and 2-point conversion. I'll get down to that here in a little bit. But I was so amazed and astonished about how well our team was able to make adjustments and how this coaching staff really put our players and our team in a very effective position to win the game. And they took advantage of it because obviously they're talented players and they can do that. And we just went off in third quarter. We just exploded and it was incredible to see. And I'm sitting back thinking, wow, this is actually a good football team. And so it's very refreshing to see. And we're a contender. I think after this game, I can really say that we're contending here in the NFC. Are we as good as the Rams? Not sure. And I don't think we're going to find out for a long time because we're going to be playing a lot of teams that really are, it's going to be really hard to measure that stick against to. But you look at the schedule here, we should win a lot of these games coming up because of the way that we've been playing and the way that we've been fighting. And so first thing that I want to compliment after the coaching staff is this defensive front. They've been bringing pressure, and kudos again to Dan Quinn for being creative and bringing these guys. Micah Parsons had a couple of sacks today, a lot of pressures. Randy Gregory was in the mix, had 2 sacks. Oh my goodness, I can't remember his last name. I should have wrote it down here before. But Osa, the young rookie, had a lot of pressure up here. And I think this is another thing that I want to do is I want to compliment our general manager, Jerry Jones, because he gets a lot of heat up front for the past few years and who he's been getting, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. But in a recent interview a couple weeks ago, he said, everyone asked him after DAL went down, are you going to go out and get somebody? Are you going to sign someone? And this team, if you've known them, if you followed them here in the past, they're not going to go out and sign someone. They haven't went out and signed someone since Brandon Carr. They're just not that team anymore. We're not that team anymore that goes out and buys our free agents. We believe in the draft. We believe in developing our young talent, especially in these seasons where, quarterback goes down. We're still believing in the guys that we brought into that locker room. And so Jerry doubled down on that and said, hey, we believe in the young guys that we have in this locker room. And for a moment, I think all of Dallas and all of the nation and anybody who watched football didn't believe that at all. We thought he was an old senile man going out of his mind, running this organization into the ground. But it seems that decision has paid off. And we've seen this young talent, and we're seeing players like Trevon Diggs, and I know everyone was calling for Anthony Brown at the end of week 1, but he had the pick last week. He had some significant plays today. He's making tackles. He's making, deflecting some passes, and so great job to that because we really have a well-made roster with a lot of depth and most importantly, a lot of young talent. I know today's game is about today and the win, and we're 3-1 here in an early season. But you look at this team, we're still very young. You look at the team, and maybe our offensive line is the oldest part of our football team, but we have a lot of young talent that can stay together for a few years under rookie contracts. And so, and I think just seeing that, it just kind of all manifested today for me watching this team. And for a while, it was just, man, you're proud of the product that's put before you, because now we're beating an actual contender. There's that record that goes around that says, Dak Prescott against his record against teams under 500, and then he has a record of teams that are over 500. I don't remember the specific record off the top of my mind, but obviously Dak is a lot better and successful against teams that are less successful in their 500, and we've seen ourselves struggle with teams that are above 500. And so today is a great win. We kind of get that monkey off our back for a little bit because we played statistically a better team, a 3-0 team. So it feels good. It's refreshing to get a win like that against someone undefeated. And so let's talk about Trevon Diggs. I know I touched on him a little bit earlier, but man, what a ball hawk. I mean, I feel like it's been forever since we have something really good to dig our teeth into and talk about, because like I said, we haven't had a defensive back to talk about in a long time. My favorite defensive back and the most talented player that I thought was on this roster for a while among the defensive backs was Jordan Lewis. He had a big interception against the New Orleans Saints years ago on Thursday Night Football when we upset them. But it feels good to talk about someone who's a second-round draft pick who, again, our organization was saying, hey, we believe in this young talent. We don't have to go out and draft Patrick Surtain. We're gonna believe in Trevon Diggs and the talent that we have already in our secondary. And we're going to go get Micah Parsons. I mean, you think about this, and I'm just blown away about how well coached this team is at the moment. And I'll, put a little asterisk on that because I know I say well coached, and a lot of people just tensed up on me as soon as I said that. We'll talk about that. But, the young talent in Trevon Diggs, 5 interceptions in 4 games. Insane, and it's awesome to see that. I'm looking here at my notes, and everything's just going really well. We're playing really well. Dak is playing. I thought he was going to have 5 touchdowns today, but he ended up with 4 touchdowns. But the most important statistic that I want to point your eyes to today is, and let me pull this up because this is super, super important. If I pull it up right here, I'm looking at the scores, NFL.com. I'm looking for the Cowboys game, and this is probably the most mind-blowing statistic for me, an eye-opening thing for our team. And this is why I feel so refreshed today about the fact that we got a ball club here. We got a football team. Dak Prescott threw 14 of 22 passes, completed 14 through 22, under 200 yards, 188 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. We don't need Dak to throw 500 yards. That's the thing we need to realize. And this is why I was so frustrated week 1 in Tampa Bay when we lost. We don't need him to throw 58 yards. Dak Prescott is having an MVP season, and he's back to being the game manager that he was back in 2016 when we went 13-3. And when he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, he's back to that form because we have 3 head coaches coaching our football team. We have Kellen Moore on offense, Mike McCarthy making decisions, and Dan Quinn controlling the defense. We have our best coaching staff that we have ever had, and it's showing right now. And we're seeing a lot of young players being developed and a lot of young talent carrying us right here. And so Dak Prescott is having his best season since 2016. But it's reminiscent of 2014 when Tony Romo had that terrific MVP-like season that ended in Green Bay on the catch. And the reason why he was so successful is for the first time we had a defense, but most importantly, we had a running game that helped Romo call the game and be efficient where he's not throwing 300, 400 yards a game. And that's what we're seeing here. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, 20 carries, 143 yards. Tony Pollard, 10 carries, 67 yards. We're running the ball. We're doing exactly what we're supposed to do. This is our winning formula. This is what this team is built on, and we're doing it right now, and it's exciting, and this is how we're going to This is how first we're going to take the NFC East, but this is how we're going to be a contender here in the NFC. I told you guys in the pregame, I said there's so many ways that this team can beat you. If Zeke's not running the ball, we'll mix in some Tony Pollard. If that's not working, we'll throw to our wide receivers. We'll use Dak Prescott. If Gallup, CD, and Cooper aren't having a good game, we can throw out to our tight ends, Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz. This offense is the best offense, I'm probably going to say, since we've seen in 2007. I know 2014 was impressive, but 2007 we had such an impressive offense, and right now it's just all clicking on all cylinders. Now let's talk about a couple of things. The video is about over 10 minutes long, and I want to get to this point here because let's talk about this coaching. I know a lot of people were talking about the go for two. I'm just going to squash that as soon as I can. It makes sense when you have an opportunity, when there's a penalty on the other team and you're set up at a 1. It just makes sense to go for 2. And I like that call. And, Dalton, did he get the ball over? Did he not? Up to you. I thought he did. It just makes sense. It makes sense to go for 2 and to grab the lead. For me, I thought it was a good call. It was a good aggressive call. I liked it. It didn't really hurt us in the end. And being down by 1 doesn't really hurt you at all. If it got a little bit too closer to the game, I'm betting you there's a huge magnifying glass exactly on that play. But let's get to declining the penalty, because there was, I don't quite remember. It could have been a holding call, I believe it was. But obviously Dallas, Mike McCarthy declines it, setting up a 3rd and 12. And that was just an awful drive. Multiple 3rd and longs, and Sam Darnold was able to run the ball, throw the ball. They were able to score a touchdown. Hands down, our worst defensive drive of the entire season. But I get, declining the penalty, because this team, and I'm going to touch on this point a lot later on, but this team believes a lot more in themselves than a lot of us do, and a lot of the media does. You look at the season, you look at any of these games and these pivotal decisions, you can tell there's this really enthusiastic belief that this coaching staff has in this team and its ability to rely on these decisions that, to us, we're scratching our heads, but to them, they said it just makes sense because we have the players that we do. I'm kind of on the fence on this one, because 3rd and 12, statistically, technically, it's hard to achieve a 3rd and 12. But in today's NFL, when you have so many weapons, it's a lot easier to convert a 3rd and 12. So I think we definitely should have accepted it, pushed them back a little bit, and played from there. But like I said, I talked in my pregame, if the Cowboys can limit the playmakers, such as DJ Moore, they put themselves in a good position to win the game. They didn't do that in the first half. But the adjustments, again, from Dan Quinn and the coach, they were able to lock down on those playmakers and seal up the game in the 3rd quarter. Now let's talk about this. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to leave a comment down on any of these topics I'm talking about, because there's a lot to talk about in this game. Trevon Diggs, why was he sitting down with 22 points left in the 3rd quarter? Well, I don't have a problem with it. I know Cowboy fans were going crazy watching that, saying, yo, he just picked off the ball. Why are you sitting him down? Do I believe he should have been sat that early? Probably not. I think you give it one more possession, maybe a 3 and out. Maybe you stop them. They punt the ball. Maybe that's when you bring Trevon Diggs out. But I get the mentality behind it, because, one, we already know that this team believes in a lot in its young talent and its depth. And so one thing that I'm seeing is, okay, get some other guy out there to see his playing time, get some NFL playing time. Obviously, it was Kennedy. So that made sense to me. And 2, you look at the mathematics of it, we're going to win this game. And again, this team believes a lot more in itself than what we may believe. And, credit to us. We don't really have a team to believe in, because we saw last season and what they've done, and we haven't really seen Mike McCarthy in a full season with Dak Prescott. So there's credit to us to, give us that benefit of the doubt. But we're up by 22 points. Mathematically, they just burned their second timeout. They got 1 timeout left. Sam Darnold's getting pressured. Sam Darnold's inaccurate when he's under pressure. He's overthrowing people. So the thinking behind it is, you're not going to beat us, because I believe in my guys. I believe in our defense that we're going to make a play and hold you off. And I believe enough in my offense, even a little bit more, to know that we're probably going to run you down, or we're probably just going to throw it out to one of our tight ends, or one of our wide receivers are going to make a play. And so at the end, I'm not fretting. I'm not going crazy at the entire game thinking, oh my gosh, they brought it down to 8 points. I'm just thinking, okay, you puffed up your stats. But we already had this game in the third quarter because why? Not because we're throwing against you, but because we're playing good defense and we're pressuring your quarterback. Now the pressure's on your quarterback to bring you back, but also we're running the ball against you. We've controlled this entire second half and we've scored enough to give ourselves this lead. Now, is it strange that Trevon Diggs was the only player who got set? You know, maybe not even like Randy, who's been dealing with his knee, or maybe, I don't know, Leighton Vander Esch or Jalen, or, I mean, heck, even Michael Parsons. They're playing him a lot. I thought it was strange how it was specifically Trevon Diggs, and maybe not even, maybe not the offense. I won't get into that, but I did think that was strange that it was just specifically Trevon Diggs. But other than that, that's it. That's all I got, guys. It's a good win. Short video for today, 16 minutes. We got to win. We're 3-1. We're going up to back. We're staying at home to play the Giants next week. And so I'll give you your NFC East update tomorrow or later in the few days. But enjoy the win. Enjoy the football here on this Sunday. And it feels good. We have a good team to be proud about. But be sure to like the video, comment down what you think about this team and where we're going. You feel good, or are you still waiting out to see if we're the real deal or not? Let me know. And subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content, because I will see you next time. And follow me on Twitter for all the Cowboy updates at Tony Goat Romo. See you guys next time.